Alright, this video is for word problems that involve translations. Alright, before you start any word problem though, you want to list the quantities and then define a variable. So basically if you find an unknown or something that you're trying to find, something that varies, put a variable on it. But you also want to list the quantities, and these are the items that have a value to them. So in 1995, 595.4 billion cigarettes are smoked. This is a quantity. So number of cigarettes smoked in 1985, and then you can put a little equal and say 595.4 billion. The reason we define our variables is it really helps us to translate these problems. So this is 202.3 billion more cigarettes than were smoked in 2005. So we have a number of cigarettes smoked in 2005, and that would be, well, is it given? No, it says this is 202.3 billion more cigarettes than were smoked in 2005. It says find the number of cigarettes smoked in 2005. That's what we're looking for. So that is our unknown, that is X. And then we get to form a statement. And the statement that we're going to be forming on these problems involves a translation. So, you want to write the sentence that is giving you a mathematical translation. How do I know this one is? Because look, we have there's an equal sign, 202.3 billion more cigarettes, that's a plus, than were smoked, and it's giving you operations. So, we're going to write that one out, and then we're going to see if we can translate it. Okay, it says, let's go and look at this. Well, this always refers to what was previous. So if you read the sentence, in 1985, 595.4 billion cigarettes were smoked. This, so it's referring to this, the previous. 595.4 billion. Okay, the next thing, right here, is, what does is mean? That's equals. 202.3 billion more cigarettes. What's more cigarettes? More cigarettes than, that's plus, were smoked in 2005. If we go back here, it says the number of cigarettes smoked in 2005 is X, and then that's our equation. So now you just have to solve that. We're going to omit the billion right now and just assume that our answer will be in billions. Well, we don't assume it, we know it. And then that allows us to just subtract. So that's 1, that's 3, that's 9, and that's 3. And there it is. So 393.1 billion. And then the other reason we've defined our variable is you can go up and just see what our answer. Well, the answer is X. So X is the number of cigarettes smoked in 2005. So we can say that 393.1 billion cigarettes were smoked in 2005. And there's your answer. Let's try it again just to show you they're all very similar. Alright, in 2005, advertisers spent 6.3 billion on outdoor advertising. This is $3.7 billion more than advertisers spent in 1990. Find the amount that advertisers spent on outdoor advertising in 1990. So again, we have two quantities. We have in 2005, advertisers spent 6.3. There's a value. So what does that value represent? It's not the number. It's the amount of money advertisers spent in 2005, and that was $6.3 billion. And then it says this is $3.7 billion more than advertisers spent in 1990. It says find the amount, that's our question, that advertisers spent on advertising in 1990. So we also need the amount of money, I'm just going to use quotation mark, advertisers spent in 1990. And we don't know that. That's what it's asking us to find. If it's a question, most of the time that is our variable. Not always, but most of the time. Find the amount that advertisers spent on advertising in 1990. Okay? So now we can form a statement. Let's look and see if we have a translation. It says this. Let's write it out. This is 3.7 billion more than advertisers spent in 1990. Okay, so this again refers to the previous, which was this thing right there, which is 6.3. I'm going to leave off the billion this time. That's equals 3.7 more than plus advertisers spent in 1990. What was the amount of money advertisers spent in 1990? Give you a hint. It's right there. Exactly. It's X. And then there's our equation again. So now we can solve it. So 2.6 billion. So there was 2.6 billion dollars spent. I just wrote dollars twice. I got the symbol and the units. It's just $2.6 billion spent on advertising in 1990. And that's it. These are all the problems. And I know you can probably look at this problem and go, oh, I could have just figured that out mentally. I didn't need all these equations and stuff. These are intro. They are going to get harder. They're going to get to a point where you're going to need a lot more pictures and equations in order to solve these. So these are just practice problems. They're meant to be simple for that one reason. So I would really like you to do every single step. List the quantities, all of them. And here you only have 2. You're going to get into word problems later that'll have 10. So you want to list them all. Then form a statement by translating. If you don't want to do translations, you can just think about it and see if you can form a statement. And then solve that equation. And then always state your answer, because a lot of times you'll make mistakes and the answer just seems completely wrong. But if you don't state it, it won't seem wrong. Like on this one, if we had gotten 26 billion, we missed the decimal place. How is that possible? It was 6.3 and this is set 3.7 more than the previous, so it was 26 billion. Doesn't make sense. Alright, let's do one more and then I'll let you try some. Alright, read the question, and then when you feel like you're ready, unpause the video. Okay, according to the Census Bureau, per capita state sales tax collected in a recent year averaged $21.90. This represents 2.5 times the average per capita income tax collected that year. Find the average income tax collected that year. So we have, according to the Census Bureau, per capita state sales tax collected in a recent year. So we got sales tax. We have sales tax collected in a recent year, averaged $21.90. Okay, there's one quantity. Now what else do we have? We have the question. It's saying to find the average per capita income tax collected that year. So we're looking for the sales tax collected that year. I know it seems weird. We have recent year and that year. And we're going to call that one X because that's what we're asking to find. That's the question. Find the average per capita collected that year. We have recent year and that year. If you want, you can make and say year 1 and year 2. It's your choice. I'm going to use the words that were given, which was recent year and that year. Okay, so now we have to form a statement. And that's our translation. So let's write it out. This represents 2.5. I can't spell. Jeez. Let's try that again. 1/2. Where are we at? Times the average per cap income tax collected that year. Okay. Well, we already know that this right here, the average per capita collected that year, we just defined that as X. So we'll put an X here. Remember, you can go in any order. But let's look at this. Again, this always represents the previous, which is 21.90. And this represents means another equal sign right there. Represents is equal, because these are both equal to each other. It represents the same thing. 2.5 times the average per capita. Okay, so we get 2190, and this is one with our fractions. So we get 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5 halves, x. And then that's what we have to solve. So we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal, or we can just multiply both sides by 2 first. And that gives us double that, which is 4380, and 5x, and then divide by 5. So 4380 divided by 5 is, let's just pull out the calculator on this one, 4380 divided by 5, 876. So 876, and let's go back up and see what it means. It's the sales tax collected that year. So there was $876 collected that year. And that's it. Alright, so I've got 1, 2, 3 more problems for you to give a try. Again, list the quantities, then form an equation, then answer it. I know this is a long video, but these are word problems. They're long to begin with. So give it a shot, hit pause now, and then try it again. And then unpause it when you're ready to go. Alright, these are the answers. And as you go, you can just hit pause as I scroll them down and look them over and see where you made your mistakes. Remember, in this one it has less than, so it must be switched. It's not 2 minus, it's minus 2. And then same thing here. If you do the translation, it says this cost, that was the $26.92 included. We can say that's equals $250 and 66x. Because it's 66 per hour of labor, and the number of hours of labor would be x. And then solve it. And then the very last one is a little bit tricky, so if you didn't get it, it's completely understandable. What you have to do is go back to when we did our translating in terms of one variable. That was done in the expressions section. If you're given a total to divide among 2 items, then when you make one of them x, and the other one is that total minus x. So there was $7,000 to divide among 2 scholarships. So one is x, the other is 7,000 minus x. And this allows us to translate everything else. So it's twice the amount of the first. I said that was x, is equals 1,000 less than, so it's minus 1,000. And then the amount of the larger was 7,000 minus x. And then there you go. And that is everything. So good luck. If you want, I would do them all over again. Just start at the beginning and try them all the way down, and then see if you get them all correct. Thank you.